The story will be told from the perspective of the main female character.
The sister grabbed my laptop right off the kitchen counter during Thanksgiving dinner. She instantly yelled, "She's hiding $15 million." Everyone in the room instantly froze. My mother laughed, thinking it was a complete joke, until she finally saw the screen. Dad dropped his fork. About 20 relatives turned toward me. Their faces were twisted with shock and greed. Then Mom spoke. Her sentence cut through the air sharply. "Give that money to your sister," she demanded. "She deserves it more than you do." I stayed quiet. I only looked at them, smiling the way you do when you finally see people for exactly who they are. What happened next? Thanksgiving ended, but the real reckoning continued. I used to believe that keeping quiet meant keeping the peace. It turned out silence only made me invisible. Growing up, my family treated my sister, Taylor, like she was fragile glass. They treated me like background noise. Taylor was the miracle baby. She was born 2 months early, tiny and struggling to breathe. After that, our house stopped feeling like a home. It felt like a hospital. The air always smelled of harsh bleach. Mom put sanitizer bottles on every single shelf. If I even sneezed, I was shipped off to Grandma's house. At first, I thought staying with Grandma Betty was an adventure. She had cookies, played old movies, and the sewing machine hummed softly. But kids are smart. I soon realized being sent away was not a treat. It was complete exile. Taylor grew up stronger, louder, and much needier. Mom circled her constantly like a satellite. Dad just quietly agreed with everything. If Taylor claimed to have a headache, I had to whisper. If she was tired, I had to do all the dishes. When she got a C+ grade on a school paper, it went on the refrigerator. When I scored a perfect 1600 on the SAT, Mom just said, "That is nice, dear," and went back to helping Taylor with her homework. I learned early that doing everything correctly did not make me visible. It just made me convenient for them. So I started saving parts of myself for later. I kept a private notebook corner, a hidden drawer of sketches, and a secret goal to get away. By age 17, I had applied to 15 colleges entirely on my own. No one asked where I planned to go. They were too busy organizing Taylor's high school recital. When the full scholarship acceptance letter from the University of Illinois, UIUC, arrived, I did not celebrate it at home. I sat at the public library and stared at the acceptance form until my vision blurred. I told them the news that night at dinner. Mom looked completely startled. "UIUC, but that is so far away," she worried. "Who will be here to help Taylor?" I told her. "I will manage my own things." She smiled sadly, as if I had said something childish and naive. "You always do manage," she said. That summer, I worked double shifts at the corner grill diner. I saved every single tip. I learned how to listen to people without trusting them. People think betrayal is just one single moment. It is not. It is a slow, quiet draining, one ignored moment after the next. When I finally left for college, no one came to help me move in. Aunt Brenda drove me instead. She slipped an envelope into my hand and whispered, "Your grandmother wanted you to have this. $500 she saved from her Social Security." That was the first time I understood what actual, real love felt like. For a long time, I tried telling myself that they simply did not know any better. I thought their silence was not cruelty, it was just a bad habit. But bad habits can eventually destroy you. After finishing college, I found a job at an auction house in Chicago. It was not glamorous work, but it was mine entirely. I spent my time cataloging jewelry and authenticating old estate pieces. This is where I finally found my true voice. While my sister Taylor bounced between various colleges, I stayed late at work. I studied every hallmark and every maker's stamp. My boss, Mr. Sterling, once commented, "You observe everything because you have the eyes of someone who has been overlooked too much." He was right about that. When my small side projects grew and became a real business of my own, I made sure not to tell my family anything. They truly believed I worked in some dusty antique shop. It was much easier that way. Once a month, I would show up for Sunday dinner wearing a cheap department store sweater and carrying an old tote bag. I pretended that the designer goods sitting in my closet did not exist. "Your sister is so driven," Mom would say while pouring wine. "She is thinking about attending grad school now." Dad would add, "Maybe you should help her out, Lauren. You have always been good with your money." It began with small requests, help paying a utility bill or a short-term loan. Soon, it became routine. I transferred $5,000 every month, and then it became $7,000. I convinced myself I was acting out of kindness. But the real truth was simpler. I was simply buying myself some peace. Taylor never once thanked me. She would show up for dinner with a new expensive bag, laugh, and say, "Guess who found another outlet sale steal?" I recognized the bag instantly. It was a limited edition item worth much more than her car. I stayed quiet, sipping my wine, counting down the minutes until I could finally leave. Every time I looked at them, I saw a family who only believed in sacrifice when I was the one making it. The more successful my business became, the smaller I tried to make myself when I was at home. I had offices located in 3 major cities, many employees and clients who trusted me with millions in assets. But to my parents, I remained our other daughter who works with old trinkets. Then the inevitable phone call came. Mom's voice was soft, trembling, and entirely rehearsed. "Sweetheart, your sister is thinking of getting her MBA degree now. It is incredibly expensive, but she really deserves the absolute best. Perhaps you could contribute to it." Deserve? That word felt like a painful stone stuck in my throat. I did not agree, nor did I refuse. I simply stared at the large invoice she emailed me later. The huge amount was circled in red. It was more money than I earned during my entire first year after college. Something inside me finally broke. Years of being the family helper, the stand-in, the invisible success story, all of it suddenly went quiet. I looked around my own office, at the framed certificates and auction photos covering the walls, and I thought, if they still do not see me now, maybe they never will. So I planned Thanksgiving dinner myself that year. No ordering takeout, no excuses, and no hiding the truth anymore. Just one dinner done entirely my way. Thanksgiving was meant to be my truce. It was supposed to be the one evening where we could pretend to be a true family without measuring who had sacrificed more. I hired the same caterer I used for my corporate functions. The table featured white linens, gold charger plates, and food that looked too perfect to touch. When Mom asked how much it all cost, I lied. "It was a discount rate," I said. She frowned deeply. "You are not taking out loans for this, are you?" I just smiled. "Do not worry," I assured her. "I can definitely handle it." By noon, the house was filled with the scents of sage, cinnamon, and roasted turkey. Everything felt bright in the soft candlelight. My sister Taylor swept in last, late as usual. She was wrapped in a designer coat she insisted was second-hand. She looked at the elaborate spread and gave a small smirk. "Store-bought stuffing," she commented. "I guess you have officially gone corporate now." I gave a soft laugh. I was totally used to her little insults. They felt safer than her fake sympathy. Dinner began like a picture-perfect moment. Everyone was laughing too loudly. They were all pretending not to notice the tension slowly wrapping itself around us. I told myself to just survive the night. Smile, eat, and get through it. Then, halfway through the dessert course, I walked into the kitchen. I needed to check a live auction on my laptop. It was an important client bidding on a rare Art Nouveau piece located in Hong Kong. My computer was open on the counter. The screen displayed authentication reports and detailed account statements. That is when it happened. Taylor followed me into the kitchen, probably looking for more wine. She glanced at the screen and instantly froze. Her face reflected in the glow of the financial numbers. Her mouth dropped open, then twisted into a mean expression. She walked back into the dining room, holding my laptop like a trophy she had won. "Hey, everyone," she called out, her voice unnaturally bright. "You all need to see what Lauren has been keeping secret." The entire room went dead silent. The fire in the hearth cracked loudly. Mom's hand froze in midair, her fork clinking lightly against her plate. Taylor flipped the screen so they could all see it. $15 million. A sudden sharp gasp went around the table. Mom began to laugh, a high, desperate, awkward sound. That cannot be accurate, she insisted. She works at that tiny antique store. Dad frowned, his eyes narrowing. Is this really true? He demanded. I stood in the doorway and watched the scene unfold. Yes, I stated simply. It is true. Mom's face instantly hardened. You let us struggle for money. You allowed your own sister to take out loans. Dad's voice suddenly rose in volume. After everything we did for you and Taylor. Taylor started whispering, producing perfectly timed, glistening tears. I am the one who deserves it more, she whimpered. It was the complete calm in her tone that broke me. The entitlement was so casual it did not even sound cruel anymore. I did not raise my voice. I did not try to defend myself. I calmly set my wine glass down and said, You are right about one thing, Taylor. You definitely deserve something, but it is not going to be from me. I walked outside into the cold night air. The sounds of their laughter and gasps quickly faded behind me. That was the exact moment I stopped being the quiet daughter and started finally becoming free. The morning after Thanksgiving, my phone started ringing before the sun rose. 37 missed calls, 64 text messages. They were from Mom, Dad, Taylor, and even unknown numbers. All carried the same demanding rhythm of entitlement and guilt. You have embarrassed our family. How could you hide this money from us? You owe your sister. By midday, Taylor had already taken the confrontation to social media. Her post read, Imagine seeing your own sister hoard millions while her family struggles. I guess money truly changes people. It gathered hundreds of likes and dozens of comments. People from high school and distant relatives I barely knew suddenly had strong opinions about my supposed greed. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Then I just set the phone down. I knew this pattern my entire life. They hurt me. I bleed. They feed off it. Not this time. Instead, I went into my home office. Sunlight hit the polished surface of my desk like a spotlight. On the monitor, a spreadsheet was open. Client contracts, company growth metrics, and invoices. This was my real life, earned, methodical, and quiet. My company was not based on luck. It was built on years of 4:00 a.m. starts and 18-hour workdays. I had spent nights sleeping on an air mattress in a rented room above a restaurant. Every cent, I had carried a scar of hard work. So when Mom's name flashed across the phone screen again, I answered it immediately. Lauren, she said softly, her voice shaking with fake concern. We just need to discuss things. Discuss what exactly? I asked. About your sister, she replied. She is humiliated. The least you could do is help her out. You clearly have enough money for both of you. She has her own life, I stated. Mom's voice sounded wounded. Do not be selfish. We are family. There was that word again, used as a literal chain to bind me. That evening, I drove straight to my office building. The city was quiet, but the lobby lights were on. Jenna, my head of authentication, was still there. She looked up from her screen. Are you okay, boss? Define okay, I replied, forcing a brief smile. Jenna did not push. She pointed toward the coffee machine. They will give up, she said. People like that stop when they realize they cannot hurt you. I wished I believed her fully. 3 days later, they arrived at my office. The receptionist called me. There is a family asking for you. My stomach clenched instantly. I knew exactly who it was. When I stepped into the lobby, the sight was predictable. Mom clutched her purse. Dad was red-faced and angry. Taylor wore huge sunglasses, trying to hide her terror. Lauren, Mom started, using her sweet, rehearsed voice. We are here to resolve this. I did not realize there was a problem to resolve, I said. Dad stepped closer. We decided what is fair, he announced. You will set up a trust, $2 million for Taylor and $1 million for us. We supported you. You supported me, I asked. Mom narrowed her eyes. Do not argue. We sacrificed things for you. A memory of her telling me to go to Grandma's if I was sick crossed my mind. Taylor spoke, her voice shaky for sympathy. I am not asking for much. You have everything. I just want a fresh start. I turned to her. You have been starting fresh your whole life. Someone else always paid for it. Dad slapped the reception desk. You cannot talk to your family like that. Jenna appeared, watching quietly. I lowered my voice. This is my office. You cannot come here and demand anything. Mom's face twisted in outrage. You will actually do this to your own sister. No, I said softly. I am finally doing something for myself. The lobby went silent. I nodded to the security guard near the elevator. Please escort them out of the building. Mom gasped, holding her chest. You are throwing your parents out. Yes, I confirmed. I should have done this years ago. They fought the guard. Mom yelled that I would regret it. Dad threatened to disown me. Taylor cried, mascara running, until she realized no one cared. When the elevator doors closed, the silence was intense. You good? Jenna asked. I am now, I replied. That night I sat at home. The phone kept buzzing with texts, insults, apologies, manipulation attempts. I blocked every number immediately. Then I opened my bank app. I found the recurring monthly payment labeled family support. I clicked cancel and confirmed it. One tap, one quiet act of rebellion completed. A week later, Mom tried calling from blocked numbers. The voicemails switched between anger and guilt. Your sister needs seed money for her business. You cannot break family ties, Lauren. Grandma would be ashamed. But Grandma was not ashamed. When I told her everything, she chuckled softly. It is time you stopped being their ATM, sweetheart. Her approval felt like the only truth. The harassment did not stop completely. Taylor posted a photo wearing a fake bracelet, captioned, Karma is a boomerang. I ignored it. The truth needed no defense from me. A month passed. My lawyer sent the formal notice. Harassment, defamation, cease and desist. It was stronger than any insult they used. The calls finally stopped. The next Sunday, I did nothing unusual. No family dinner, no phone checks. I made tea, went to my vault, and worked on vintage sapphires. The room was perfectly silent. That silence no longer hurt. Revenge is not loud. It is about finding peace. It is choosing silence because it belongs to you now. Thanksgiving finally meant freedom, not obligation. 6 months passed. I barely heard their names. The legal letters worked. The social media outrage stopped. Taylor's cheap jewelry business failed after 2 weeks. Still, sometimes I checked my phone by habit, waiting for the next blow. Trauma leaves muscle memory. One morning, an envelope came from Grandma Betty. Inside was a note and a photo of her by her jewelry cabinet, smiling. Proud of you, sweetheart. You learned to keep what is yours. That message meant more than any declaration of love. My business was booming. The company expanded. Jenna handled operations perfectly. Clients called daily. I kept my routine simple. Coffee, lab gloves, quiet rooms, polished light on gems. I stopped pretending to be small. In my new home, with high ceilings and a custom vault, I felt a deep peace. I was not lonely. I was truly free. I occasionally saw old family photos. They looked like strangers. Taylor still posted photos of rented cars and claimed to be self-made. She showed off a fake designer bracelet. I saw the wrong hallmark and smiled. She learned nothing. I closed my laptop. That Thanksgiving, I did not cook. I ordered takeout, poured wine, and raised the glass to the empty chair. To peace, I whispered, and to finally choosing myself. They said my sister deserved it more. Maybe she did, if deserving means only taking. But I earned everything. Every dollar, every quiet morning, every peaceful breath they once mocked. I built my life from the silence they forced on me. It is stronger than their noise. Revenge is quiet. It is a locked door, a canceled payment, a firm boundary. It is seeing yourself, not who they told you to be. If you were the forgotten child, know this. You do not owe anyone your peace. Tell me what you would have done. Share this story and subscribe for more.